All right, everyone. Hope you guys are all doing well. It's Monday, February 14th. It's Happy Valentine's Day. Show your friends, family, significant others some love and appreciation this day. For any of you who are watching later, like if you're not watching this live, if you're watching this like an actual normal video, skip to about two minutes in, and that's when I'm actually gonna start talking about the stuff going on with my channel. Um, but if you're because I'm gonna wait for more people to tune in live, so it's gonna take a few minutes. So if you're not watching this live, skip to the 2 minute mark, and that's when I'm actually gonna start talking about what I'm gonna talk about. So yeah, we're gonna wait for some people to start hopping in here. Should be good. Should be epic. Some people in chat. Yeah, I had to keep moving the stream around. I have stuff going on, and I just it was a crazy afternoon, so I had to just move the stream around a bit. But yeah, that's about it. Waiting for people to start tuning in. Hello, Red Ohio Politics. All right, we're getting a few people in chat. We have 2 viewers right now. Good. You love to see it. I'd like to get a few more. No matter what, once you get 2 minutes, I'm gonna start talking for those who are watching this not live, but we'll wait another minute. Hello, Gabriel. How are you doing today? All right, so at the 2 minute mark, so I'm gonna just start going. If you want to come back and watch it, if you're just tuning in now in the live stream, go back and watch it. It starts at the 2 minute mark. But yeah, so we're gonna start talking about what's happening with my channel. So just gonna come out and say it. I will be very surprised if my channel is still up in a couple weeks from now. YouTube has been copyright striking, and they've been hitting a lot of my videos. I can't make money yet because I'm not 1,000 subscribers, but they've effectively demonetized me. I think we're getting shadow banned. I'm not 100% sure though, because my viewership and my new viewership has gone way down the last month or so. It started back in October. It was like really when it was the first time I got striked. It was with my land down under. It was about the Australian protests that were going on at the time against COVID restrictions, and that video got I think it just got copyright struck, and it wasn't available in like a few random countries and states. Which I mean, all right, that's not the end of the world, but like the last month or so, a couple of videos have been hit with copyright strikes, and they've been age restricted, so anyone under 18 can't see it, and I effectively won't be able to make any money off of it. I can't make money already. I'm too small of a channel yet. But if I could make money, I wouldn't have. And they also just won't appear in people's they won't be promoted through the algorithm as much as other videos would. So it's kind of a so that was kind of just annoying, I guess, and I was seeing that occasionally for a little bit, but then like the last week or so, we really got hit hard with the we had a stream where we streamed the Trump rally in Texas 2 weeks ago, and in that video, several times it was live, and several times we denied any fraud in the election. We said that 2020 was free and fair. Which the funny part is, I actually do believe the 2020 election was free and fair. Like I'm not even saying that for YouTube. I don't think 2020 was stolen. That's the funny part. But YouTube still took down the video or the stream, I should say, and then the eventual video. And they said because they said that it was promoting misinformation. Uh, we denied it several times. We denied fraud several times, and I don't even believe that 2020 was stolen. Like that's my actual belief. So why YouTube took that down, I'm not really sure. So that was kind of annoying. And after that, like I exchanged some emails with them, just kind of saying like, mate, could you maybe put that back up? And they were kind of like, and they said no. But so I mean that's all right, I guess. I mean it was distributed, didn't get many views. But then there was a video that my most recent video, besides this one, is about the Canadian truckers and the protests going on in Canada and also in Paris. And it was similar to the Australia one. It had "Which Side Are You On," which is a pretty good song, actually. I like it a lot. A lot of people, a lot of socialists, some people on the left said it's a socialist song. It's really not. It's more just about unionization. It's more of a populist song, but that's besides the point. Yeah, so it's just so obviously a copyright stricken for that song, which isn't the end of the world. I mean, most of my videos that feature music of some sort do get hit with a copyright strike. All of my like what's it called? The if you close your eyes, those are usually hit with a copyright strike. Sometimes they're not, sometimes they are. But it's happened to me a few times, so it wasn't the end of the world. But this one, less than a minute after it was uploaded, like less than a minute, it got taken. It got age restricted. It just got blown up with all these restrictions and strikes. And so I was texting people at YouTube again. I was emailing them, and I was like, "What happened with that video?" And they were really chill about it. Actually, they after they reviewed it, and the next day today, after reviewing it, they actually took down the age restriction so anyone can view that video. So that is a plus in my opinion. So the people I emailed were very nice. So I'm not at all saying that we should like attack YouTube or anything. They've honestly been pretty the people I've talked to have been pretty chill through this whole process. But definitely something's going on in YouTube with the algorithm that they don't like me for some reason. I have a video that they with a differing opinion that's up for less than a minute, and it's struck with a bunch of copyright strikes, a bunch of age restrictions. I have a couple other videos have been hit with strikes like that. Not the end of the world. Like, obviously, I don't get paid for this. I don't really. Eventually, I might. Eventually, I might, but as of now, I don't. But yeah, so it's just kind of annoying, and the fact that they're I believe we're getting shadow banned. I don't know that for a fact though, just because of how the views and the impressions we've gotten from in terms of like how often we appear in the algorithm, stuff like that. So I don't know for sure, but yeah. Long story short, the channel has been YouTube does not like our channel for some reason, especially. The funny thing is a lot of my election predictions have actually been they've stayed away from my election predictions. None of those have been hit with anything. It's everything besides that usually gets hit. A lot of the Rust Belt Boys podcast too. A lot of those I get demonetized or copyright stricken, which obviously since I don't make money, it doesn't really mean anything, but it's just annoying because it means it doesn't show up in the algorithm as much. It doesn't get promoted as other content similar to it, which is annoying. But like I said, not the end of the world. But yeah, the last few days, like I said, a couple videos have been hit with copyright strikes, and like I said, a video actually got age restriction. A video got taken down. So it's clear that YouTube, for whatever reason, they're going after my channel a little bit, which I can take that, honestly. I don't mind. Honestly, if I don't really care if I make money off of this. So honestly, if they want to copyright strike every one of my videos, I'm fine with that. I don't really care about that. I can't make money already. I need another like 100 subscribers. But like I said, I don't really care about the money part of it. I just want to make videos that about something I enjoy, which is elections and politics and stuff like that, and hopefully that I can make a difference. I mean, we've interviewed a congressional candidate. We're actually starting to do stuff. We're hopefully gonna slowly grow our influence on the local and maybe possibly federal and state, local, and all that good stuff. Hopefully, we'll actually get some influence in there. And yeah, that'd be pretty awesome if we could do that. But that's pretty much my spiel. Like to summarize, like I said, there's just YouTube has done a few things they've copyright stricken my videos, they've demonetized it, they've age restricted my videos, they've just pulled a bunch of strikes against some more recent videos, and they've taken down some of those strikes because of I've appealed them and I've sent some emails to Team YouTube and stuff like that. So and the people I've emailed with have been pretty nice about it overall. But like I said, just kind of annoying. But yeah, that's really about it. There's nothing more to say. So with that, I just want to hang out with you guys, do a chill stream. This is not a Rust Belt Boys podcast or anything, just me doing a live stream, hopefully interacting with you guys who are coming to chat, answering some questions. Maybe we'll let some people on, maybe we won't. We'll have to see. But yeah, so Red Ohio politics. New poll from Trafalgar has Mandel leading by 5. Yeah, I saw that. I believe Mike Gibbons was in second and JD Vance was in third. Mike Gibbons, I'm losing interest in Mike Gibbons. I used to think he was a solid candidate, even if he would win. I think he still is a decent candidate, but there's been some stuff that's come out about his views on abortion and objectivism by just a couple stuff from his 2018 Senate run that I really disagree with, and he's actually covered that up by spending money to make sure that the companies, the sites that he did those interviews with in 2018, make sure that doesn't really come to light. So some shady stuff with Mike Gibbons, but I wouldn't mind. He's not the worst candidate out there, but he's definitely lost a lot of my support after I've seen that stuff about his stances on abortion and other stuff like that. So, yeah, that's my spiel on Mike Gibbons. And the Trafalgar poll. Trafalgar is they're a pretty solid poll in all honesty. They've been spot on so far with the off-year elections and so far the midterms. It looks like so. Yeah, Trafalgar. That's a pretty solid poll in my opinion. I would not be surprised if Mandel is actually up by 5. I certainly think Mandel is still leading in the polls, but Vance and Gibbons are definitely making it a lot closer. Dr. Oz is a Chad. So true. I don't know why people hate Dr. Oz. All the stuff about the transgender people coming on a show, and all that stuff. He actually debated the doctor who performed the transgender surgery, and Michelle Obama. Michelle Obama coming on the show. That was nothing. I don't know why everyone's all upset about that. Um, it's the first lady. If she wants to come on your show, you let her come on your show. I mean, if I don't know. Well, people on the left probably wouldn't let Melania Trump come on, but if I'll put it this: if Joe Biden wanted to come on a Rust Belt Boys podcast, I would let her because I mean that's pretty freaking cool to have the first lady of the United States or anyone in that political position, even if you don't agree with their politics, just to come on and do a show with them. So the thing with Michelle Obama. I don't know why people get upset about that. And the thing with the transgender doctor, I would understand that, but Dr. Oz was actively debating them and kind of like debunking them. It was actually pretty based. So I don't know why people hate all that stuff. Would you take Gibbons over Mandel? I personally would. Probably just because of rhetoric. Honestly, yeah, like I said, Gibbons, he's lost a lot of my support with his previous comments from 2018 on abortion and how far he's gone to cover it up. But overall, he's probably better than Mandel just because he's not like insane and he's not he's not he's not annoying. Mandel's just annoying. He needs to shut his mouth. And Mandel doesn't even really have any policy. Mandel's policy is literally just whoever the head of the Republican Party is at the time. Um, in 2012, when he first ran for, I believe it was Senate against Sherrod Brown, Josh Mandel literally all he did was campaign with Romney. All he did was hang out with Romney. His entire policy was Mitt Romney, Mitt Romney, Mitt Romney. And then he lost, obviously, because Mitt Romney's a cuck and nobody likes his politics. And so here he is now in 2022, and he's simping for Trump, and he says, "Oh, my politics are Trump. My politics are Trump." Which, I mean, yeah, Trump's politics are good. I like Trump's politics, but you got to have something more than that. Just sucking up to Trump isn't really going to get you anywhere. And especially when you've shown that if Trump were to lose standing, then you wouldn't support any of those policies anymore. So, yeah, I would definitely take Gibbons over Mandel. Remember when Vance was leading the polls for a little? Yeah, I do. That was pretty epic. He's still doing very well overall. He's definitely improving. He's getting much better margins, making the race a little bit closer than it was before. But yeah, that was pretty epic when Vance was up for a little bit. Vance is better than Mandel. Oh, absolutely. I would take JD Vance over Josh Mandel any day. JD Vance is my preferred candidate in the race, and I'm actually going to volunteer with his campaign. So JD Vance, I'm all in for JD Vance. We need him in the Senate. Trump needs to endorse Masters and Vance. Yeah, absolutely. Blake Masters and JD Vance are both pretty epic, pretty based. Those two in the Senate would be quite the duo. They're already good friends, and I would love to see that. Trump is scandal-ridden and old. He should stay at the 2024 presidential race. That's a tough call, honestly. I don't. Yeah, I see what you mean. I don't know what you mean by scandal-ridden. I mean, other than maybe the 2020 election stuff and the January 6th, but nobody really cares about all that stuff. I mean, Terry McAuliffe and the Democrats spent so much money and so much time tying Glenn Youngkin to the January 6th, and Youngkin still managed to win in Virginia, which is like a D+10 state. So, yeah, honestly, I don't see the issue. I don't think that all that stuff's going to affect Trump all that much. And Trump's a solid candidate, honestly. I mean, some polls have him winning the popular vote. I don't really trust those polls. I think it's stupid that a lot of conservatives look at polls that show Biden up by 5, and they're like, "That's absolute bullshit. The polls are biased. There's no way Biden's up by that much." And then the polls have Trump up by like the same margin, and they're like, "Oh, Trump's up huge." Like, obviously, this is a psyop. Trump is either not up by that much, or he's up by way more than that. And they're trying to tone us down. But I think that's the point. I think that's besides the point because like I said, don't trust every poll you see. I don't really trust a lot of polls. And it's helped me quite a bit. So Trump is scandal-ridden, and I see what you mean. I used to think that a lot. About a year ago, I was all in for Ron DeSantis 2024. Now I probably prefer Trump, just simply because Trump is more of an outsider. He's good on trade. He's good on foreign policy. Like DeSantis, honestly, Trump was not anything. Trump was no different than a generic Republican on most issues, other than immigration and foreign policy. Trump was not much different than a generic Republican. But the thing is, DeSantis is just going to be a normal Republican also, but we don't know his stances on foreign policy and trade. So if we can get a solid Trump, so if Trump's and DeSantis are pretty much going to be the same on most issues, but Trump is better on a couple issues, then I'm going to prefer Trump over DeSantis. And I mean, most polls show Trump up pretty big. Biden's down big in terms of his approval rating, and I don't see that changing anytime soon. So I easily see Trump. So I do think Trump should run in 2024. Trump will probably win the popular vote in 2024. Yeah, probably. At this point, probably. I would not be surprised. It would be 2016, but with Nevada, New Hampshire, and possibly Maine at large. Talk about Ukraine. I don't know. There's a lot to say about Ukraine. Like you said, Russia's probably about to invade. The Ukrainian government has attempted to meet with Russia. I think it was today actually. The Ukrainian government attempted to have like a meeting with Russia and talk about basically try to find a way to end all this. And the Russian government basically said no, screw off, which is a huge sign. The fact that Russia doesn't even want to talk to the Ukrainian government, which is surprising to me. Honestly, I honestly did not expect Donald Trump to I mean, not Donald Trump. Why the hell did I say Donald Trump? I did not expect Vladimir Putin to invade Ukraine. I thought this was a whole psyop. I mean, not a psyop. I definitely think that Putin wants to, but I don't think it would really be in his national interests to do so, especially with the Olympics going on and all that stuff. So we will have to see. But yeah, like I said, if Putin really wants to take Ukraine, then he's going to do so, and I don't think the United States should get involved. The only thing with that is if we don't defend Ukraine, is that if there is ever a major global, another major global conflict, a lot of countries would be much more hesitant to ally with us. I mean, we've abandoned our allies in Afghanistan, and then now we've abandoned our ally. We would have abandoned our allies in Ukraine if this were to happen, and that would be two pretty big embarrassments for the United States military. So it's a very tough call, but in my opinion, but in the end, we should not get involved. Ukraine's not worth it. We should support them in rhetoric and maybe in some funding and maybe like help if they help them fight a guerrilla war. But really, we shouldn't. No American should die for Ukraine. DeSantis will probably beat Trump in the primaries. No. Have you seen a poll that even has DeSantis close? The closest poll I've seen has Trump winning by like 40 points. There's absolutely no way that DeSantis beats Trump in the primaries. That would shock me if that happened. If Trump would get more conservative on social issues, that would be nice. Yeah, definitely. He's improved a little bit. With his more recent rallies, he's talked about like critical race theory, anti-white racism, and freeing the January 6th political prisoners, which is always good to see. But yeah, overall, I would like Trump to be more conservative on social issues. But as long as we have the Republican Party as a whole, it's still conservative, Trump is going to be conservative on the issues as well. What was the channel update? I talked about it for a while ago. If you skip to about 2 minutes in, I'd start talking about it. If you can go back or you can just watch it after the stream is done. What do you think about Francis X. Suarez? He's pretty much a rhino, especially from Miami. You would expect Miami with the Hispanics turning way Republican. You'd expect Miami to have a based paleocon Catholic mayor, Hispanic mayor, but no, he's a complete rhino. He doesn't like Trump. He didn't even like DeSantis. So all this stuff about him running for president in 2024, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I actually made a video on him a while back. I think it was back in like November. If you want to watch it, yeah, he's an interesting fellow. His dad was actually really solid on the issues, but he's not. He's like I said, he's anti-DeSantis, he's anti-Trump. There's no reason to support him. He's not even a Republican. He didn't even support DeSantis in 2018 in heavily Republican trending Miami. So I don't see a reason that we should support him at all. Thoughts on the John Durham report so far? Do you believe that it was a gross government overreach or was just an overestimate talk from the right? Are you talking about about how Clinton spied on Trump even after he was in office? Like that just got revealed? Because yeah, absolutely. I think Hillary Clinton should be tried for treason. In all honesty, she spied on a sitting president of the United States. She spied on her opponent's campaign, and this just shows you that people who don't believe that there isn't a deep state are just stupid. I mean, there's absolutely is a deep state, and this just proves it. People did not want Trump in office. After he was in office, they spied on him. So yeah, absolutely, Hillary Clinton should be tried for treason if this stuff is true. Like I said, though, a lot of this, I think, sometimes I wonder how much of this is actually true, though. I mean, we hear about this all the time, but nothing ever happens with it. And I don't think anything is going to happen with this. This isn't going to really change anything. But if it is true, which I personally believe it is, and it definitely seems like it is, then it's definitely gross government overreach. Hello, however, is everyone? I am doing pretty well overall. I enjoy taking questions from you guys, talking with you guys. Channel update was pretty good overall. Everyone's tuning in now after the channel update. I wish I should have waited till 4:30 when we would have had everyone on. So just to reiterate, if you want to see the channel update, skip to 2 minutes into the live stream. It only took me like 5-6 minutes to go through, but yeah, that's what the whole point of the stream is. DeSantis won't run if Trump runs. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone who runs against, if Trump runs in 2024, anyone who runs against him is dead on arrival, and they're going to doom themselves within the Republican Party because we're so loyal to Trump. If anyone tries to challenge him, then they're just stupid. Do you think Republicans can pick off a statewide race in Minnesota this year? That's an interesting question. It's not out of the question. I would not be surprised if we picked up maybe like a lower ballot, like maybe like an attorney general seat or like a secretary of state or something like that. But in terms of the governor, the governor is it's a long shot. It's definitely possible. I mean, Minnesota is, in my opinion, still a Republican trending state. Um, I think Minnesota is interesting though because the whole state is trending Republican, but the Minneapolis metro area is growing so much and it's trending so Democratic that even if we get, say, like the Iron Range to trend heavily Republican, we gain a bunch of voters there. The rural areas continue going red. A lot of the state is it's just because Minneapolis is going to keep going blue. So I seriously have a hard time. I have a hard time seeing Minnesota going blue anytime soon, especially with Minneapolis growing. But I'd say in 2022 and maybe 2024, it's possible. But after that, I don't really think so. Had to go to Dunkin' Donuts with my friends. Base Dunkin' Donuts. I've not been there in so long. I don't know what to say about that. But yeah, it's a solid place. Solid place. Who do you support in the Republican primary for Ohio governor? That's a tough call. I don't really like any of them in all honesty. Renassi's DeWine, obviously, I don't like for obvious reasons. I don't like him. He's not awful. A lot of Republicans pay him out as like this complete like liberal Republican. He's really not that bad. He's taken huge steps on abortion. Ohio is one of the hardest states to get an abortion in because of him. And he's also brought a bunch of manufacturing jobs back to the state. So overall, he's not awful. But the lockdowns and the mask mandates and the vaccine, he's been really bad on those issues. So in the end, I do not support him in the primary, but if he wins the primary, I probably still vote for him. Honestly, he's not too bad. Um, Jim Bernassi is an absolute swamp creature. He's literally ran for every office imaginable, and he's the worst campaigner I've ever seen. He lost to Sherrod Brown by 7 points in a race that he probably should. Sherrod Brown was probably going to win in 2018 just because of the national environment and how popular he is, but should have been closer than a D+7 win for Sherrod Brown. So he's I like his campaign, but his history is pretty sketchy. And then Joe Blystone, I like Joe Blystone a lot. But he, just like Jim Bernassi, has a lot of scandals. There's a lot. I made a video on him like back in September, a long time ago. His running mate dropped out because he was like threatening her or something, and a bunch of women have said that he's a threatening person to be around. So he's an interesting fellow. I like his politics, but I think personal stuff he's a little wishy-washy on. I lost the first part of the live stream. What is the channel going to do about the copyright situation? You mean like what I'm going to do about it? I'm not going to do anything about it. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Hopefully we keep the channel around. But hopefully we keep the channel. But I'm not going to do anything. I mean, if they keep copyrighting me, I'll keep appealing it. That's what I've been doing. But nothing. There's nothing I really can do, especially since I'm not making money. Since I'm not making money off the channel, copyright strikes basically mean nothing except that my video appears less in like the algorithm, which is annoying, but not the worst thing in the world. So I'm really not going to do anything except to keep appealing them and keep exchanging emails with some people from YouTube. Campaigning against Trump is as serious as Joe Walsh is, and yeah, absolutely. No one. I think in 2024 might be a little bit more competitive. Like maybe instead of getting 1% of the vote, they get like 5-10% of the vote. But seriously, there's no way anyone's getting more than 10% of the vote against Trump in a primary. Honestly, Warnock is a pastor and Walker is stalking claims. I don't have Georgia Senate flipping. Nah, I think Herschel Walker's solid. I don't know. He has those claims against him, but he's not bad overall. Like I said, he's going to get the rural Republican vote out heavily, and he's going to do decently in the Atlanta suburb just because he's running He's running a slightly more left-leaning campaign on social issues, which is, I mean, not even on social issues, like on race relations. He's running a slightly more left-leaning campaign, which he kind of has to at this point because of how diverse Atlanta has become. But so I do so, and like I said, he's gone a little left leaning on race relations issues because of how diversified Atlanta has become, and he has to do that in all honesty. If he doesn't, then Warnock's going to get 95% of the black vote, and even if Walker destroys in the rural areas, which he's already going to do, it's not going to matter because Atlanta's going to outvote them. So he has to at least try to do pretty well in the Atlanta area, which he's and by going slightly left leaning on race relations, he's going to do that. I don't think he's going to. And he's not even gone that left on race relations. He's just said he's not nearly gone as far left on race relations as Tim Scott has. He's honestly still pretty much a generic Republican on it. So yeah, and plus he's going to do very well in the rural areas. Republicans are going to be energized. Herschel Walker is going to get a bunch of voters in the rural areas because he is a football player. He has a lot of appeal to the rural South. If you're not from the South, then here's a quick lesson for you: football is like a religion in the South. Besides actual Christianity, football is like a religion. Like that is the being a college football player, or even a pro football player, but especially a college football player in the South, that is that is it. That is like you are seen like next to Jesus in that part of the country. So the fact that Herschel Walker has that appeal and he's done that before, he's going to do very well. And if the fact that he's a former professional football player is going to help him quite a bit. Pronasti wins in Ohio. Yeah, it looks like he's probably going to win the primary and then probably go on to win the governorship. Yeah, like I said, I don't hate Renacci. He's not awful. I like his campaign so far, but he definitely has a very sketchy history. Will Sherrod Brown win a seat again in 2024? That's a good question. He's certainly not dead in arrival. I've seen a lot of people on the right say Sherrod Brown is dead in arrival in 2024. He's not dead in arrival. He has a solid approval rating, and he's honestly not bad. He's pretty far left on social issues, but on economics, he's really not awful, especially for Ohio. And for being a quote unquote progressive, he's really not too bad. He is a protectionist to an extent, which will get him a lot of support from Ohio. But I think if we just get a good candidate out there, and with Trump, the thing is, if 2024 was a midterm election, I seriously would think Sherrod Brown would have a solid chance at winning. But because Trump is most likely going to be on the ballot, there's no way that you cannot tell me that all these rural, traditional Democrats are going to vote for Trump and then also vote for Sherrod Brown at the same time. They're going to vote for the Republican because Trump's going to campaign with a Republican. So if it was a midterm or an off-year election, then I could definitely see Sherrod Brown hanging on very narrowly. But with Trump on the ballot, there's absolutely no way Sherrod Brown's going to win. It's going to be a lot closer. I think he's probably only going to lose by like 3-4 points, but he's not going to win re-election. Is 2022 the first time you can vote? It is for me, but I live in Massachusetts, so it's kind of pointless. Actually, no. I can't vote until 2026, actually. It's kind of funny. I am 2 days too young to vote in 2024. The election is November 3rd, I believe. 4 days too young. The 2024 presidential election takes place on November 3rd, and I was born on November 7th. So I am 4 days too young to vote in 2024, which is absolute bullshit. I officially support lowering the age to vote to 16 just for Ohio. Just for Ohio. I think that'd be pretty based, in my opinion. A lot of my friends that are Zoomers are pretty base conservative. So I support if Renacci or DeWine or Blystone, if any of them support limiting the voting age in Ohio to 16 just for 2024, I will support them all the way. They better win. So yeah, I cannot vote until 2026, technically, which is bullshit, but that's okay. Will Laxalt win Clark County? That's a good question. Probably not, but he'll make it close. I don't think he'll lose it by more than 2-3 points. Georgia's going to go red in the Senate by 2.5%. Prue's going to win the governorship by 1.5%. I have them both by about 1.5%. You can't deny that Atlanta is definitely going to turn out and make the race much closer than it probably should be, but yeah, I have them both. I have both the races being about R+2. Laxalt has a chance of winning in Clark County, but I don't think he will. Yeah, exactly. He's not gonna win, but he might win, but it'd be very hard. He'd have to get some serious shifts in the working class parts of the county, which he could get. In all honesty, I mean, it would not surprise me if he got them, but it's not the most likely scenario. And you plan on doing videos on politics in other countries? Since you asked, I'll do a little sneak peek into my future project. So I'm currently working on a documentary about the politics of each U.S. territory. The United States, if you didn't know, has several U.S. territories, including Puerto Rico, Guam, the Marshall Islands, other territories, mostly islands in the Pacific and the Caribbean. And surprisingly, a lot of those places have very interesting politics. They have the republic, they have elections, they have governors, and they have state house races. They have all that good stuff. So I'm definitely gonna make videos on that stuff. I have a documentary I'm working on. It's probably going to be split into a few parts, but yeah, I'm going to work on a video about the territories of the United States. And we might cover we might do some politics on foreign countries in the future. But right now, other than knowing, I know a little bit about Canadian politics, and I know a little bit about German politics because my family's from Germany originally. But other than that, I know a little bit about UK politics just because it's UK politics. But really, other than that, I don't really know a whole lot. So I'd have to educate myself a little bit before we started making videos and that stuff. But eventually, maybe. Do you think Manchin could really have a chance in 2024? Absolutely. I think Joe Manchin has a chance in 2024. It's very slim, but it's possible. Similar to Sherrod Brown. If it was an off-year election, then I think Manchin would probably have a very good chance of winning. But with Trump on the ballot in 2024, I highly doubt that we're going to get like 40% of the voters switching their ballots, especially because in 2018 it was so close anyways. So I have a hard time seeing Sherrod Brown winning in 2024, but it's definitely possible. If Jim Jordan ran for Senate in 2024, do you support his campaign? Absolutely. Jim Jordan's epic. Jim Jordan's based. I really like Jim Jordan. So yeah, absolutely. Who did you want to win in 2018? Brown or Renassi? Same with the governorship. For the governorship, I supported DeWine. Not much to say about that. He was better than the Democrat. But 2018 was interesting. The Senate race at least. Ooh, I've never really thought about it. I probably Renassi. He's not great, but he's not bad. And his campaign was relatively Trumpian. Or it should have been. He ran an awful campaign, so it really ended up not being very Trumpian. It was kind of like a neocon generic Republican campaign because it was ran so poorly. But yeah, I would probably support Renassi because I mean, even if Renassi isn't a solid Republican, he's going to vote with us the majority of the time. Meanwhile, Sherrod Brown's going to vote with us like 0% of the time. Like Sherrod Brown would probably support amnesty if it came up, while Jim Renassi wouldn't. And similar thing with like DC statehood, Puerto Rican statehood, Medicare for all, $15 minimum wage, stuff like that. So at least Renassi would vote with the Republicans on major issues, while Sherrod Brown would vote with the Democrats on every issue. So, like I said, I probably would. I do support. I would have supported, and I do support Renassi over Sherrod Brown. I'm having some lunch right now. Did not eat. I was pretty busy, so sorry about that. Anyone else have anything to say in the chat? Because if not, I might just end the stream here. It was a very fun stream. I enjoyed talking with you guys. I should do this more. I should do live streams more often. They're very fun. It's nice taking questions on maybe. Well, we do the Rest Boys podcast already. But, excuse me. Holy shit, that was a bad voice crack. Excuse me. But yeah. Who was your favorite president before 2000? That's tough. Maybe either Teddy Roosevelt or Dwight Eisenhower. Honestly, Nixon wasn't bad either, but I still prefer Ike or Teddy Roosevelt over him. A lot of Trump's economic policy was based off of Eisenhower. Eisenhower was an excellent president. He did a great job with the economy. A lot of our infrastructure that you see, like pretty much any major highway, bridge, or road you see was built because of Eisenhower. So he definitely did a great job with our country. The economy did very well. He did a pretty good job. So yeah, I like Eisenhower a lot. So probably Eisenhower. And Teddy Roosevelt was just he was just an absolute shad. He had pretty good foreign and economic policies. Well, foreign policy he was iffy on, but he was pretty interventionist, but he wasn't like awful on it. That's about it. Who was the best candidate for governor in the Nevada governor race? That's a good question, honestly. I used to be I've been more focused on the Senate race. Let me check out the governorship race. There was a guy I used to support, the former mayor of North Las Vegas, who switched parties and has become a Democrat. Yeah, John Lee. Yeah, this guy's an absolute Chad. John Lee is he's a blue dog Democrat who is mayor of North Las Vegas, which is a very Hispanic working class part of the state. Trended like 30 points Republican in 2020, and he's done a pretty good job. And he's switched parties because of how left the Democrats have gone on social issues, and he's running for governor. So I support John Lee. There's a lot of good candidates though. So I don't have an issue with any one of the candidates. There's a couple that are kind of cringe, but overall, I pretty much like all the governor candidates for Senate. I mean, the candidates in Nevada for governor. Outside of Trump, who just support in 2024, maybe DeSantis. If Trump didn't run, I'm assuming if Trump didn't run, I would probably, and DeSantis would be the most likely option. So I'd probably support DeSantis. Tucker Carlson, though, I would not mind seeing Tucker run. Glenn Youngkin, Glenn Youngkin's not going to run in 2024, though I would support him easily. As soon as Glenn Youngkin might seriously run in 2028, but yeah, I seriously, other than DeSantis and Tucker, and maybe like a Paul Gosar, but that's never going to happen. There's really no one that I can really think of that I would support in 2024. Coolidge and Reagan, epic. Dr. Oz said, "Let's go, Brandon." Did he actually? Working that up. Was this recently? Or was this? Oh yeah, it was yesterday. Wow, that's based. Will the Republican Party revert back to establishment once Trump is gone? Or do you think the America First policy is sticking around for the long run? Hmm. Good question. That's a tough one because I could easily see a lot of people. I could easily see the Republican Party. I personally believe the GOP is going to stay an America First party for in the long run, but at this point, I would also not be surprised if it did revert back, because Trump did a lot of damage to the establishment, but he didn't completely destroy it, not even close. So I would not be surprised if, like, say, that's why I think it is important that Trump runs in 2024, even if he doesn't win, which I expect Trump to win if he runs in 2024. But even if he doesn't win, at least he'll keep the America First movement alive. Like, if Trump doesn't run in 2024, we're probably gonna get a DeSantis or a BoomerCon type who's, yeah, they're gonna like say, oh yeah, I work with Trump, and oh yeah, I support Trump's policies, but they're really not gonna be super hardcore America First, unless maybe like a Tucker Carlson. But really, besides Tucker Carlson, I don't see anyone who could possibly run being super America First. So that's the issue. Is that even if Trump, so if I would prefer Trump ran in 2024 and lost than if he doesn't run and the Republican Party revert back to being a more establishmentarian, suburban center right party. Because if that happens, we have zero chance of saving our country. There's no point to running candidates. There's no point to voting. I mean, I would still vote for the Republicans. I would still campaign for the Republicans, but but there really wouldn't be a main point to it, because we would just roll over and Democrats would slowly take more power. Our nation would slowly move further to the left, and there really wouldn't be a point to that. So that's a very good question, and I do think that that's why it's important we do continue to support Trump in 2024, and I think it's important that he does run, because at least if Trump runs, we keep America First policies around for another cycle. We keep that at the forefront. And because of that, we keep the longer Trump is in charge and the longer we stay in America First party, then eventually yeah, we have a higher chance of saving our country. Because if Trump doesn't run and we go back to the establishmentarian party, we have zero chance of saving our country, because there's nobody who's trying to save it. At least if Trump runs, even if he loses, he inspires all these candidates to run as well. He makes money for his Save America PAC, all that good stuff. So at least we have a fighting chance. Youngkin is a shill. I mean, kinda. Some of what he does, he is not bad for Virginia. He's banning critical. I know he did. I know you don't like him because he did the Jewish anti-Semite thing, but like anti-Semite or thing on the website. But I don't see an issue with that. It's not a big deal to me. It's kind of annoying, I guess, but not a huge deal. Youngkin might run for Senate in 2024, not president. Yeah, Youngkin. I don't think Youngkin should run for Senate. Honestly, he would. Youngkin would lose the Senate race. Senate races are a lot different than governorship races. So yeah, but I would certainly support a Youngkin. If Youngkin did run for president, depending on his opponent, I would certainly support him. He's just not bad on the issues, and I think if he ran for president for president of the United States instead of governor of like a D+10 state, I think he would certainly be a lot much better on the issues. Nicholas J. Fuentes, LMAO. Yeah, I listen to Nick Fuentes occasionally. Um, he's not my favorite political commentator. I think he's a little out there sometimes, but he definitely. I don't understand why people hate Nick Fuentes at all. He's really not all that. He's really he's exposed a lot of the establishment and the hypocrisy and how the deep state. Nick Fuentes, I listen to his show occasionally, and I think he's a little far out there, but he definitely has played a huge role in making the America First movement what it is today. So he deserves complete credit, and I like Nick Fuentes a lot, and he's a little out there. Some of his views, I think it's a little crazy sometimes, but we do need that. We need that young, high energy, little out there, crazy guy out there to lead our movement. And I like Nick Fuentes a lot. And no matter what you think of him, you have to give him credit because he's really made the America First movement what it is today. Other than Trump, I don't think anyone besides Nick Fuentes has had as big an influence on the America First movement to Nick Fuentes. Honestly, I say that honestly because Nick Fuentes, he's exposed the establishment of DPUSA, other establishment conservative organizations, and he's done that while completely changing the political landscape. So I like him a lot. He's honestly done an excellent job. What are your thoughts on the Freedom Convoy in Canada? They should absolutely hold the line. I honestly, I think it's kind of annoying how they rolled over and just let the police take back Ambassador Bridge. I'm not sure if the police have fully taken back Ambassador Bridge. I know yesterday that they came pretty close to it. They pretty much removed all the protesters, but I don't see the. This is what annoys me about the what's annoying about the Canadian protests, pretty much all the protests we've seen against the vaccine mandates, is they're out there, they're epic, they're chanting, they're out there saying, we're going to hold the line, we're going to completely end these mandates, end all this craziness, end all this. And then a couple police officers show up and they say, can you guys move? And they just move. I know they put up a fight longer than most people, so I'll give them credit for that. They didn't. They took them a few days to move, and even then, some of them did put up a bit of a fight. I think the RCMP pinned a guy to the ground and arrested him, and they had fully automatic weapons, heavily armed and ready, and they were ready to. Their police were ready to do some damage. So I do understand the just natural fear, I guess, and just complying with that. But it would have been nice if they put up a bit of a fight. I'll be honest with that. I still support them. I still think they're doing great things. I mean, they've already made some progress tonight. I think Alberta's already removing a lot of their restrictions. But then again, Alberta is like the most libertarian, most similar state to the United States as a whole. So that's really not saying a whole lot. But yeah, that's about it. On the convoy, it's epic. I love seeing blue collar workers stand up to the liberal globalist establishment. You love to see it. That's like my dream. If I could have, I would love to take back the United States through elections. That's the ideal. But second place is just these epic Appalachian miners and working class people. Just a lot of them are probably veterans from Vietnam, Korea, maybe even some newer veterans from the battles and wars in the Middle East. I would love to just see those guys and people like me who are just pretty conservative, young Zoomers. I completely understand where people come from, and they want a white working class, paleo-con, far right revolution to just overthrow the government. But I'm not supporting that. I don't think we should. I don't think I would hate to see that happen. I don't think there should be any bloodshed in taking back our country. I would much rather do it peacefully through elections and through just national environment and culture. But I don't know. Something about that really appeals to me. Pentagon is sending another 3,000 troops to Poland. Yeah. I seriously did not think Putin was going to invade Ukraine, but it looks like he might actually. So we'll see. Are you going to do a face reveal? I've done a face reveal a few times on my Twitter and to some close friends of mine. A bunch of people in the election community probably already know what I look like. I don't know. I'm probably not going to do a face reveal on my YouTube channel until maybe 1,000 subscribers. Maybe when we hit a thousand. Well, the issue is I would do a face reveal every time I stream, but I don't have a face cam on my computer, so I can't even do a face reveal if I wanted one when I stream. But eventually, if I would like to get a face cam, so I can do a face reveal and do streams with showing my face. But until then, I literally can't, except unless I'm on Twitter, and I've already done it a few times on Twitter. And plus, I'm younger than a lot of people think I am. Like a lot of people think I'm like in college and stuff. I don't know. Maybe I don't think my voice sounds that deep, but a lot of people I talk to are like, "Wow, you're only like 15," and I'm like, "Yeah." So, uh, yes, like I said, I'm not opposed to doing a face reveal. I would actually prefer doing live streams with a face cam, but I literally just can't do it right now. So we'll see. The only reason I would want AOC 2024 easy win for the GOP and Democrats lose their minds. Yeah, I wouldn't even want to see AOC get that far because if AOC wins and a Democratic if AOC were to win a Democratic primary, that means that the bulk of Democratic voters are pretty far left leaning, which is not good at all. So I do I know this is a harmless scenario. So, but at EOC 2024, yeah, absolutely, I'd love to see that. I'd love to kick her ass, but that would be the worst case scenario for me because that would mean the Democrats as a party were so far left that they would be willing to support the majority of them would vote for AOC in a primary over someone more moderate. I thought you were my age. Yeah, everyone I talk to thinks that I'm like 18. Nah, I'm a 15-year-old dumbass who makes videos on politics in my basement. Let's go. Point of view, you are a Nikki Fried stan. As governor, I will say gay, I will say bi, trans, lesbian, queer, because love is love, and you are you. That's a beautiful sentiment right there. Beautiful tweet Nikki Fried had. But you know what? I think I love how she doesn't realize how much it's gonna hurt her. She thinks that she's gonna get guess what? She's gonna make some money from California, from New York, from these college educated young white liberals. They're gonna donate money to her because they're like, oh my gosh, look at this incredible statement by Nikki Fried about how she supports the LGBTQ community. But guess what? The actual Hispanics and the actual voters in Florida, the blue collar workers in the Panhandle, the trad cath Hispanics in Cuba, all that did was lose her more of this Hispanic vote. So guess what? She's gonna make some money from donations from California and New York, but she's gonna get her ass kicked by Hispanics in Miami-Dade. So yeah, absolutely not. What's your opinion on Ukraine? I already talked about this earlier. I've talked about this a few times. Like every live stream I go on, everyone wants to know my opinion on Ukraine. But I'll say it again. No American should die for Ukraine. Um, like I said, the United it's a very tough call because on one hand, in my opinion, I'm completely not an interventionist. In my opinion, we shouldn't have even invaded Iraq. Yeah, well, obviously, I think most people think we shouldn't have invaded Iraq after 2003. That's besides the point. I don't think the United States should send its troops into any foreign country unless an American citizen is attacked. And no, not even attacked. Unless an American citizen is directly killed by that government. I don't think the United States military should get involved in any scenario. And even if that happens, we should just like take out the people who did it and do what we have to do. Because I think that American interventionism has been a huge issue. It's what led to 9/11 by funding by using the American military and by intervening in every country. We effectively had made half the world hate us because we're getting involved in places that we shouldn't. So, I'm very not an interventionist, but the thing with Ukraine is I also see it from a pragmatic standpoint, and that is if Putin takes Ukraine and we just abandon Ukraine, then that will lead to two scenarios in less than a year where the United States military has completely abandoned its allies. So if we ever have a more major major conflict with say China or Russia, what message is that what message are we going to send to Taiwan, to the Philippines, to our allies in Europe, to people on the ground that we have abandoned our Afghan allies in Afghanistan and then Ukrainian allies in Ukraine. And both times we said we would defend them till the end and we would work with them and we would fight with them and we'd protect them and we'd do all that stuff. And then when the push came to shove, we just completely abandoned them. So I think it's a very tough call. I don't think a single American should die for Ukraine, but we should definitely at least help them a little bit. Because if we just roll over and let Putin take Ukraine, then if there's another major conflict, other countries are going to be like, you abandoned Afghan allies in Afghanistan. You abandoned Ukraine. Why should we work with the United States? Why should we help you fight China? Why should we help you fight Russia? It's a very tough call because on one hand, like I said, I don't think a single American soldier should die unless it's warranted, unless an American citizen or an American soldier is killed. But on the other hand, if we let Ukraine fall, and that would be two scenarios in less than a year that we abandoned our allies, and that would send a pretty bad message to any other possible allies. Like, I mean, you have China funding countries in Afghanistan, making uh, like China's pretty much taking over Africa through building projects and funding, and we're trying to do the same. What message is that going to send to Taiwan, to those countries in Africa that are like, you know what, if they have to pick between the United States and China, or the United States and Russia, they look at the United States and say every single ally that the United States has if we look at every single ally the United States wants to make, we've abandoned quite a few. I mean, even back a few years ago, we abandoned the Kurds in Syria. So it's pretty bad. In my opinion, I think it would be a very bad optics to completely abandon Ukraine. But I don't think a single American should die for Ukraine. Will China attack Taiwan if Russia invades, seeing blood on the water? Possibly. China invading Taiwan is much different than Russia invading Ukraine. China invading Taiwan would basically start World War III. Meanwhile, if Russia invades Ukraine, it would basically just be Putin taking back former territories, because we actually have like treaties with Taiwan that say yes, we will defend you if that happens. We have nothing. We've verbally told that to Ukraine, but we have nothing, no binding thing on paper that says we'll do that. So there's a little bit of a difference, in my opinion. If you feel like we abandoned Afghan, then it's time to say, yeah, Ukraine should be on its own. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at. If we already abandoned our allies in Afghanistan, and if we just abandon Ukraine also, then the next major global conflict, what are our allies going to say? They're going to say, you've abandoned the Kurds, you've abandoned the Afghans, you've abandoned the Ukrainians. Like, they're going to be like, why should we side with you? Why should we help you? And all that's going to lead to is more Americans having to fight and more Americans having to die, which is the worst case scenario. Are you upset that the Bengals lost last night? They got so close. Yeah, absolutely. Um, I'm a Cleveland Browns fan first, but the Bengals are definitely a good team. I like them a lot. So yeah, I'd be very sad if the Bengals. I'm very sad the Bengals lost. Joe Burrow's he's a stud, and it was a good game, but the Bengals just kept. They couldn't make it happen. They got so many penalties, and so many, especially in that last drive by the Rams. The Bengals kind of dug their own grave there, and there's a few plays they should have made, but overall it was an excellent game, and it was a good game. It was a really good Super Bowl. I enjoyed watching it. So true. Yeah. Lol, democracy is cringe. Let's go into let's talk about my stance on democracy real quickly. So democracy is very cringe in my opinion. Um, it's the ideal. Don't get me wrong. I would love to see a democracy, but in order for a democracy to work, in my opinion, you need people that actually understand what's going on in the world. And all we have now is we have a populace that just reads "Orange Man bad" headlines and proceed to vote out Trump. That's not a democracy. That's if anything, that's not democracy. It's like the analogy that I've heard. I think it was from Aristotle. I don't know that I think it was from Aristotle. It's an analogy that says if you have a ship and you're gonna sail the ocean in the ship, would you rather have a bunch of people vote on like who should be leading the ship, or would you rather have the most talented and most powerful captains and crew leading that ship? That's my stance on like that should be our view on politics. If we have the most powerful country in the world, and instead of letting a few people, instead of letting the people who know how to run it, the people who understand politics, understand demographics, understand history, understand culture, understand we should not have instead of having the people who would actually understand how to run a country, we have people who we just have let everyone decide who gets to run it. It's it's not good. It's like I said, if you have a boat, would you want the best captain in the entire world? If you had a boat, would you want the best sailors and the best captains to lead that boat, or would you rather let everyone on the dock who doesn't know anything about the boat? They don't know anything about the boat. They don't know anything about who the captains are, other than like a few things they maybe heard or seen or read. Would you rather have the strong captains who know what they're doing lead the way and lead the boat, or would you rather have everyone who has half the time have no idea what's going on decide who gets to run the ship? I don't know. You tell me. I would personally much prefer to let the people who know what they're doing lead us. And I'm not advocating for a dictatorship. I think a dictatorship is stupid in my opinion, or a king or a monarchy. That's even worse than a democracy in my opinion. Because at least in a democracy, you have a chance at making your voice heard. But if you have a dictatorship or a kingdom or a kingship or a monarchy, then you have no chance of making your voice heard. So I'm kind of torn. Um, I mean, part of me would love to see. I'd love to see sort of like I'd like to see what they have. The stuff we have today in terms of our system with the electoral college is like perfect in my opinion. It's just we need better voters, if anything. In all honesty, like the amount of we need to educate our voters more, in my opinion. That's it. So yeah, I democracy is cringe. I think Churchill's quote is the best statement on democracy that I've had. Democracy is the best thing that has ever failed. Like every single system of government that we've tried has failed, and democracy has failed too. I mean, look at the United States, look at the West, look at the Western world as a whole. But um, it's the best thing we have. I would like some sort of mix between pretty much what the United States is. A republic is a republic. Ideally, I mean, like I said, I would like democracy has its pros, but it also has plenty of cons. So that's about it. How about we like the most talented ones? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. If we had a populace who understood who was running, who understood, a little bit about history and the culture and politics, then a democracy would be beautiful. We'd have people with a shared identity, a shared culture, saying, you know what, maybe we should do this or maybe we should do that. But no, we have a bunch of people who have just say, I want this and I want that and we need this and we need that. And that's what we have. And that's not what democracy should be. I mean, it should be a bunch of people saying, you know what, we need this. I'm messing up my words, but you get what I'm saying though. I hope you get what I'm saying. It takes educational reform and a strong middle class. Pretty much, yeah. If I'm assuming you mean for a democracy to work, yeah, we need a like I said, I'm not opposed to the idea of a democracy. I think democracy is the best idea. That it's the best thing that's failed. I mean, everything has failed. Every government we've ever tried has failed. Democracy has just failed the least. So I'm not opposed to a democracy. It's just not the ideal. Theocracy, yeah, theocracy. I would not mind a Catholic theocracy. I've gone very deep into my faith, and I think the Catholic Church is pretty based. I would not mind a Catholic theocracy, but it's just never going to happen. So I don't see the point in even supporting that. It's just like I'm very pragmatic in my politics. People are starting to find out about me. Just make it illegal for blue-haired girls to vote. Yeah, so true. Yeah, Donald, he, they, Proud Florida, and Christ 2022. DeSantis, BLM, Biden won. Biden did win. I don't. Yeah. My chicken's getting cold. This is so sad. Oh, yeah. How about a union dominated by Ohio? Absolutely. I'm a Great Lakes nationalist all the way. I think Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Michigan, Illinois, Wisconsin. Basically everything you consider the Rust Belt and the Great Lakes region is the greatest place on earth. Changing my mind. I'm pro Pope Francis, Catholic. Another tribe groups are cringe. Yeah, Pope Francis isn't awful. A lot of people hate Pope Francis. Pope Francis he's done a great job as Pope. He's made our relationships with the Muslim faith and the Orthodox faith. He's definitely improved that our relationship with them a lot. He's pretty left leaning on He was pretty left leaning on some social issues. He's made the church go left on some social issues, which is pretty cringe in my opinion. But overall, he's not too bad. Heat it up in the microwave, then estimation. I would, but like I'm in my basement, and I'd have to go upstairs and leave the stream, and I don't know, too lazy to do that. I like just sitting here and chatting with you guys. Sure, we're doing which I'll get a better governor. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm assuming you're from I don't know. You could be from any states, honestly. I don't. You could be from anywhere. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I mean, Ohio's pretty based. Ohio is the greatest state in the union because we have everything that California does. We have theme parks, we have beaches, we have mountains, we have everything could want in a state. You can literally do anything. We have everything, every single every single like geographic region you could want. Ohio has it. but in California and a couple other states have that as well, such as California, maybe New York. But that's about it. Ohio has based people though. That's what really makes a state is the base people there. So you have, let's see, you have in Ohio. You have mountains to see. You have mountains. You have beaches. You have theme parks. You have plains. You have everything. You could have literally anything in Ohio. Like you have anything and everything. Um, I'm sure you could have all that in California too, but you have a bunch of dumbasses, and same thing with New York. So yeah, Ohio's the greatest state in the union. I live in Ashtabula County, which epic. Fellow Northeast Ohioan. I'm from Medina County. Um, it's got it's kind of the suburbs of Cleveland and Akron, and then a lot of farmland and rural area. So yeah, best pope. Probably Pope John Paul, in my opinion. I don't know a whole lot about the popes of the Catholic Church. I know a lot about the saints, but I don't know much about all the popes. So, mm, um, but I like a lot of what Pope John Paul had to say. You've had me in the first half. Yeah. I'm not sure what you mean by that. Besides Florida, what state is the best governor? Uh, that's a tough call. Possibly. The governor of Montana is not bad, honestly. Greg Gianforte, might have butchered his name. He's not bad, honestly. I like him. He's a solid governor. He's not great, but he's not bad. He's passed some pretty good legislation. So overall, I like Greg Gianforte a bit. He's a solid governor. I don't really know too much about anyone else that really say is my favorite. There's a couple guys I really like. I don't mind Chris Sununu all that much. A lot of people hate Chris Sununu. They say he's like this left leaning kind of guy. He's not bad. He's really good for the Northeast, and he's really not all that left leaning at all. So I don't really mind Chris Sununu that often. He's definitely not my favorite governor, but I'm just giving him like an honorable mention. But definitely Greg Gianforte has done some solid stuff in Montana. But besides that, we don't really have any other. Trying to think of any other possible base governors. I mean, Greg Abbott, absolutely not. Kristi Noem, she's not awful, but she's definitely not good either. Mike DeWine, that's laughable. Oh, Kim Reynolds. She's Kim Reynolds. Kim Reynolds is a solid governor. Honestly, she's not bad. I would definitely support. Kim Reynolds is a really good governor. So I don't mind Kim Reynolds. So yeah, other than DeSantis, the most base governor probably have to be Kim Reynolds or Greg Gianforte. Best representative from Ohio currently. Wrong answers only. Easily Anthony Gonzalez. That guy's an absolute Chad. Charlie Baker, Supreme Leader of Massachusetts. Yeah, I mean Charlie Baker. He's well liked there. I'll give him that. Sununu got called a communist sympathizer by one of the New Hampshire GOP candidates running for Senate. That's kind of funny. That's really funny, actually. A vote Pukita. Yeah, I mean, he's not bad. He did an interview with my friend GOP Josh. He has go subscribe to GOP Josh and go follow him on Twitter. Go follow his podcast. He's a good friend of mine. He has a lot of good stuff out there. He did an interview with Pukita. It was a good interview. I enjoyed it. So go subscribe to GOP Josh on YouTube, Twitter, and Spotify if you want to hear more about the Sky campaign. He's pretty solid. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like he has any chance of winning, but he's pretty solid. Yeah, Jim Justice. I forgot about Jim Justice. He's a pretty solid governor too. He's not bad, honestly, but he's not bad. He's a former Blue Dog, so he gets a lot of points for that. I think people lump Chris Sununu with people like Charlie Baker and Phil Scott because they're liberal Northeastern Republicans, but Sununu is actually not like that liberal. Yeah, exactly. Sununu is pretty based on a couple of issues. He's not bad. He's better than the rest of the Northeastern Republican governors by a lot, and he's better than some even red state Republicans, in my opinion. So yeah, I really don't mind Phil Scott. I mean, not Phil Scott. Chris Sununu. Wow, we have gained 3 subscribers from this live stream. So any losses that we get, any losses we sustained from the strikes YouTube has put against me, we've gained back just like that by this epic live stream, which I've really enjoyed. I'm gonna do this more often. I like just chatting with you guys like this. Maybe we're obviously gonna do the Rest Boys podcast. Should be a new episode of that in a couple days. Which, if you enjoy this, come on that. It's literally just me with my good friend Jordan, who's aka Holly Poster on Twitter, and we talk about. But except we have actual topics other than just answering questions from chat. So if you enjoyed this, please be sure to tune in for the next episode of the Rest Boys podcast, and watch any of the other ones. We interviewed a candidate for Congress a couple of days ago. Actually, it was pretty fun. I dislike my governor, but he's 100. She's your representative. I am so sorry, man. I am so sorry. Out of all of the Northeastern Republicans, excluding Sununu, which one do you like the most? The Northeast Republicans. Do they have to be in elected office? That's my question. Because there's actually a couple of solid people from the Northeast. I think there was a guy who ran for governor of Rhode Island, a couple of people from Maine. Bob Stefankowski from Connecticut is actually really based. So there's a couple solid Northeast Republicans, but do they have to be elected? That's my question. Click the subscribe button and notification bell. It takes 3 clicks. So true. Yes, so true. Yeah, definitely. Please do that. It would mean a lot to me. Like I said, we're getting close to that 1,000 subscriber mark, which would literally be one of the greatest things that ever happened to me. But we'll see. Hopefully, we get there someday. Governors in the Northeast. All right, so, well, you're saying, I don't know if you're laughing at me or yourself, but you can't just say out of all the Northeast Republicans. That's a very broad term. Out of the governors, probably Phil Scott. Honestly, that's surprising. I like Phil Scott more than Charlie Baker for a couple of reasons. Pretty much, literally just 2 reasons. They're both pretty bad. But Phil Scott actually vetoed some sort of some transgender legislation passed by the Vermont State Senate. That was really based. The Vermont State Senate overrid his veto, so it didn't matter. But yeah, Phil Scott, like I said, he did veto some pretty far left transgender and transitioning for children. Like it was for children to change their gender. It was something passed by the Vermont State Senate, and he vetoed it, which is pretty based. It didn't matter because the state Senate has so much power that they just overrid his veto. But it really wasn't bad. And he also is Vermont. A lot of people don't know this. Vermont has some pretty they don't have too bad of gun restrictions other than New Hampshire. I think Vermont is the second best state to own a gun in the entire Northeast. So Phil Scott has been involved with that. So Phil Scott's not bad, honestly. He's better than Charlie Baker. And Larry Hogan's not bad either. I forgot about Larry Hogan. He's not bad either. I probably prefer Larry Hogan over Phil Scott, honestly. But I mean, they're both about even. They're both good, but not great. But yeah, Phil Scott is pretty solid, honestly. He's pretty much everything he does is cringe, but he has had a few base moments. You should do a video on the territories and their political views. I actually announced earlier in the stream that it's a documentary I'm working on. So yeah, hopefully sometime. I have such a busy schedule the next 2 weeks, but I also have a lot of days off. It's so weird. So I have a lot of I'm gonna be very busy with school and sports and work and stuff like that. Especially now that I'm a volunteer at the JD Vance Senate campaign. But but I also have a bunch of days off of school, so it's kind of that weird mix. But so hopefully that video will be out sooner than later, but hopefully before the end of the month, because I'm going to put a lot of effort into that video. I'm going to be analyzing every little trend and all that stuff. So we will see. Yes, this video was recommended to me by someone random by back in October, and I was gonna do it, but I just never did. So hopefully that video should be up before the end of the month. I've just started working on it though, so we'll have to see. It's gonna be a full-on based documentary, well edited in my opinion. I'm really looking forward to working on it more. Kerry Rahib is a based Vermonter. Yeah, I tend to agree with that. Kerry Rahib is pretty based. Yeah, he doesn't like me very much though. He saw my Senate prediction. For those of you who don't know, Kerry Rahib is an independent candidate for the Vermont Senate race in 2022. He's really based. He's kind of like further a little more conservative than the Republicans that are running for the spot. But yeah, he's solid on a lot of the issues. But and he watches my videos apparently. He saw my Senate prediction. And he saw that I put Vermont as safe D. I wasn't even thinking because he follows me. We've interacted on Twitter a few times. But he apparently watched that video and he got so offended that he added me and he said horrible map and he unfollowed me. So I was actually very sad about that. But that's how life goes, I guess. But yeah, Kerry Rahib, I like him a lot, but I upset him, so I'm very sad about that. And so then after that, I did a little more research into him, and he has he has a sketchy backstory. He's worked at like 20 different law firms, and like he's been like a former like stockbroker, I believe, for like 20 years, and in that time he's worked like in a different law firm every year. So he has an interesting career, but he's solid on the issues, and he seems like a nice guy. But we will see. You think Stephen Kowski will win in 2022? At this point, probably. I would not be surprised at this point. Ned Lamont's approval rating has gone up in recent months, but but because of the lockdowns and the anti-Biden sentiment, I would not be surprised if Bob Stefankowski pulls off a solid win. Would Puerto Rico be solid Democratic? Probably for maybe like the first cycle or two, yes. But Puerto Rico is just such a weird state politically because the Republican Party of Puerto Rico, they have some like Puerto Rico as a whole is a very Catholic state, and so it would probably trend very Republican because of Hispanic voters turning Republican, the Republicans and the Democrats getting too far left on social issues. But the Republican Party of Puerto Rico is just awful. Like I said, they're just pretty bad. And there's a third party in Puerto Rico called the Puerto Rican Independence Party, which advocates for Puerto Rico to become an independent country, which always does very well. So we don't really have a good estimate on whether Puerto Rico would be a Republican state or not, because there really hasn't been an election between just the Republicans and Democrats in a while. Yeah, it probably would be about 55-60 Dem in my opinion. To start, that could change though, but it would probably be like D plus 10. I think Puerto Rico would probably be very similar to a state like New Mexico, maybe like D plus 9, D plus 8. But I think on the presidential level, but on the Senate level, I think it would be a little closer, and on the governor level and stuff like that, I think it would be much closer. It's more of like a local state. I believe that's Guam, but I don't know that for a fact. Let me double check for you. No, it's not Guam. That's not Guam. I thought it was Guam. I guess it's not. Let me double check because that's bothering me. The Northern Mariana Islands. Yeah, the Northern Mariana Islands have a Republican Party. Ralph Torres is the Republican governor. Yeah, no, I gotta eat up these epic chicken wings that have now gone cold. So, very sad. He did. Bro, that's so sad. That is really sad. I'm sorry. Yeah, I don't know. He's an interesting fellow. ASMR. Yeah, I know. I was eating. I thought we're gonna have to end the stream pretty soon. Unfortunately, probably we have about 8 minutes left. 5:30, we're gonna end it. So if you have any questions, yeah, pretty much say them now. Forever hold your peace. But we're gonna do this again, so we'll see. And hopefully we'll have a Rest But Boys podcast, so we can talk about that stuff in a few days. Would the Northern Mariana Islands be politically? I don't want to spoil too much for the video, but I think they'd probably be relatively Democratic. Um, Pretty much all the territories would be semi-Democrat leaning. But I think some of them, such as Northern Mariana Islands and possibly Puerto Rico, would be a little more competitive. And maybe the Virgin Islands too. We will see. But yeah, like I said, we don't really have enough. We don't really have enough detail on the islands. And there's like I said, I don't want to spoil too much for the video though, so I'm gonna keep kind of quiet on that. Other than Puerto Rico and the Northern Mariana Islands, all the territories would be a little more Democratic leaning. I know some territories held some fake elections in 2020, and Trump did very well. Yeah, Trump did very well in all the territories in 2020, but I don't think I don't. The thing is, we don't really have an accurate way to tell that because those elections don't mean anything. So for all we know, a bunch of Trump supporters on the islands could have just said, you know what, our vote doesn't mean anything. Let's just we better all turn out and vote for Trump, and then that made Trump do much better. So, like I said, I don't want to spoil too much for the video, but I will just say that we will have to see. What do you think Young needs to do to win back the state assembly in 2023? That's a good question. Gotta think about that. Honestly, at this point, probably just run an anti-Biden sentiment. In all honesty, keep up with the issues with the CRT in schools, all that good stuff, lockdowns. Pretty much just run on the same platform he ran on in 2021. But just like say I don't know, for example, to do better in the suburban parts of the state, just say like to the parents, oh, I can't pass this legislation that would ban CRT unless we win back seats in the suburbs. So really honestly, Young just needs to rally that base, that the same base he got that voted him in 2021. If you can just get those voters out and rally those same voters, then he should have no problem winning by the state assembly. It will be interesting though because it'll be 2023. We'll get to see him in office for a little bit, so it'll be interesting. But I do expect that he will. I do expect him to. I think they should take back the state senate, but it's gonna be close though because it's just gonna be a completely different dynamic. Do you want a shout out? I mean, yeah, sure, if you want to. I mean, I would appreciate that. You're a much bigger channel, so obviously I would appreciate any support I can get. But don't feel like you have to or anything. We're making our way up on our own. But I would appreciate that. LT said that there is a very small chance Biden does not run for re-election. What do you have to say about that? And do you have to say about Trump being Biden by 5.6 in the S&P average? At this point, I seriously think Biden will run for re-election. I don't think he's definitely going downhill. But if people didn't care in 2020, people haven't cared really that much now in 2022. Unless something really bad happens, I don't see anything changing in 2024. So I think Biden will be the Republican nominee the Democratic nominee in 2024. But we will see. Anything could happen. But I do think that Biden will probably be their Democratic nominee again in 2024. And Trump beating Biden by 5.4. Yeah, definitely. I think that Trump as of now will kick Biden's ass. Well, but that's probably going to change based on every president, whether it be Trump, Obama, Bush didn't really have that because of 9/11, but Clinton, even Reagan to an extent, they all did very poorly in their first year or two in office in the polls. They all got their asses kicked in the midterms. So I mean, we will see. I think it's too early to tell. Buckeye, what happened to your crush on that Catholic girl? Do you still talk? He's meaning that post back in December. Yeah. So yeah, we still talk. We're still friends. We're nothing romantic or anything. But I'm not a fake cell. Trust me, I'm an incel. I'm very yeah. We still talk and we're friends, but nothing more than that. But it's probably better it stays that way. Honestly, she's not the. She's a good friend, but I don't really see me dating her. I don't want to get any the gimmicks of it all. But if you really want to hear about that, then I'm surprised you still remember that. That was a long time ago. I've talked to AFM and a couple people about that, like in our group chats, but really, no one's really talked about that since then. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, we're still friends. We still talk, but it's not going to go any further than that. Biden won Guam in their straw poll by 13 points. That's interesting. I know you guys want me to talk about the territorial politics, but I really don't want to get into it because I want to save that stuff for the actual video. Biden's way worse in Guam than Clinton. Yeah, I mean, Trump did much better than Clinton. I mean, Trump did much better in 2020 than in 2016 in a lot of places. It was 2020 was just such a weird election. Oz beating McCormick by 11. Yeah, you keep saying that. I see that, and I acknowledge that it's definitely happening. So Oz is hopefully going to go on to win. I think Oz is a solid candidate. Do you have a Discord server? I do not at this time. I wouldn't mind eventually making one. I don't know. I have a Discord. I use Discord a lot, but it's mostly for personal stuff, like just to play games with my friends, and we have our servers. And I'm in a couple servers just on my own. But this thing is, I set up my Discord way before I even thought about this channel, so my Discord is like really personalized. So I'd have to make another Discord account really for the full Buckeye Politics experience. In which case, if I did that, I wouldn't be able to be on the server all that much because I'd always have to change between who I was signed in as. It would just be a huge hassle. So possibly at some point, if we get big enough, or if I can find a way to change my personal Discord to more of a Buckeye Politics themed Discord, my account. I mean, definitely, absolutely, I'd love to have a Discord server, but really until then, I don't. And plus, I think we're kind of too small at this point. We could probably get like 10 people in there. So, well, that would be nice to chat with you guys more often, and just hang out with you guys. I don't think it's right now. Yeah. Like I said, I would like to do a Discord, but this time I don't think we're going to be able to do it. So I have a personal Discord. I use Discord, and I'm not opposed to doing it. But just right now, it's complicated. So I don't think we're going to do it at this time. You should do a video if other countries voted. I'm actually going to do a video on that eventually too. You're like, I don't know. You must be like reading my mind, or you must be like in my walls or something. Because yeah, you seem to know all the videos I'm thinking about making. Epic Politics, get some mods you trust. Yeah, I know. I don't even talk to them on Discord that much anyway, so I probably wouldn't choose them. That's the thing is, I need to pick mods and all that stuff. And I mean, like, none of my IRL in real life. I don't know why I said IRL. I sound like a fucking Twitter girl, but none of my in real life friends really know about my channel that much. None of a few of my family members do, like my close family do, but no one really knows about my channel. So it'd be just hard to find mods that I trust because, like I said, no one really knows about it, and no one really talks about it. So yeah. Would you endorse Oz and McCormick? Oz. I've said that like 30 times. You're in all my live streams and you watch all my videos, but you don't know that I support Oz? Bro, I've said that like I said that like every time anyone asks me this. Oz all the way. Add me on Discord. George Bush 420. All right. Let me get that. I'll add you. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Yeah, I got you. As long as you don't leak my Discord, we're chilling. All right, yeah, I'll add you later. But yeah, like I said, my Discord, I have a few people in the election community added on Discord, but I really don't talk to them that much because like I said, my Discord's really personalized. Like it's my name, all my servers I'm in, everything of my bio, everything about me on Discord is like my personal stuff because I had Discord like way before I even thought about making this channel. So I'll add some close friends, but yeah, I don't really. The Discord server would be awesome, but just not right now. Not right now. Maybe in the future, definitely, but not right now. Some countries I don't know though that well politically, so it'd be interesting to see a video about that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I don't think a 2020 election, but with all the countries voting, would be the best way to teach you about that stuff. But possibly, like for example, I'll give a little insight into how I think it would go. I think a lot of Latin America would actually surprisingly vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden because of social issues. Because Trump is more conservative on social issues, and a lot of the the southern hemisphere, especially in South and Central America, they're very Catholic. They're very socially conservative. I mean, if you look at pretty much every election in South America, whether it be Brazil, Peru, Colombia, they're pretty socially conservative. And plus, and if this were to happen in this scenario, I would assume that there would be no border crisis because like because I'm assuming because if there were no border crisis and just based off Trump versus Biden, a lot of those South and Central American countries would vote for Trump. Probably all of them, just because Trump is the more conservative voter. A lot of people don't realize this, but the United States is one of the most socially liberal countries in the world. If you go to like say any South or Central American country and you talk about like the same way you talk about LGBTQ stuff in the United States, you would get a completely different reaction. Other than people don't realize that Western Europe and the United States are some of the most socially liberal places in the world. So that's why I think Trump would actually do very well, just because he is more of a social conservative. But that's all I'm going to say about that. What kind of movies do you like? I'm a big fan. I don't really watch a lot of I watch some movies. Like I used to be a huge movie guy. I used to want to before I got into politics. I wanted to be like a movie and film director, like not like a big Hollywood guy, but I thought it would be like a social, like a local like film director, like a kind of like a self funded like film director and movie maker. Because a lot of people that do that and make good money. I thought that'd be kind of cool, but like, yeah, I don't know. Like but that ship sailed a long time ago for quite a few reasons. But that was what I really wanted to be when I was a younger kid. But what kind of movies I watch now? I'm a huge Star Wars nerd. Like I could make a, I could talk about Star Wars all day, any day on a podcast or anything. Like if you guys want, we can do a live stream next time. And I'll literally talk about Star Wars for 2 hours. Like honestly, like I could talk about Star Wars all day. A lot of Marvel movies are pretty good. So with that, I probably have to say I'm somewhere between like a sci-fi, action kind of movie guy. Like I think the new Spider-Man movie was solid, but not bad. So with that, yeah, like I said, I like a lot of different kinds of movies, but mostly action and sci-fi. I think Canada would go more. The Democrats would probably be decently competitive. Yeah, I mean Canada would definitely vote for Biden over Trump, but not by a whole lot. I'd probably only be like maybe like likely D, maybe lean D. We will see. We will see though. I don't want to spoil too much. You gotta stop asking this stuff. You're spoiling all my future videos. So opinion on the Book of Boba Fett. It's actually really good. I've enjoyed the show a lot. I'm gonna ask that nobody spoils it in the comments because I don't want to ruin it for anyone else. But I've really enjoyed the Book of Boba Fett. It was a great show, and the finale was really good with Cad. I'm assuming everyone knows about Cad Bane. Cad Bane, he's a solid character from the Clone Wars. I really enjoyed his arc in the show. And overall, the Book of Boba Fett was actually really good. I've enjoyed them. I've enjoyed a lot of the new area Disney stuff. Other than the sequels were really bad, but the Disney Plus Star Wars content has been pretty solid so far. And I'm definitely looking forward to the Obi-Wan Kenobi show when that comes out. Well, I cannot come on the Star Wars stream. If we ever do that, yeah, sure. Because I know we've talked about that before on like Twitter, but Star Wars stuff. Yeah, if you guys want to interact with me, I'm very active on Twitter. So if you guys who said like you want to have a Discord server, if you guys want to interact with me on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. It's in my bio, and I'll probably link it in the pin comment to this video. But yeah, overall, I'm very active on Twitter. So if you want to connect with me more, do more stuff on Twitter. What do you think about Tulsi Gabbard? This is a very hot take among people on the right, but I really like Tulsi Gabbard. If I could have a dream ticket, it'd probably be Tucker Carlson, Tulsi Gabbard, because we would have for electability and on policy. Because Tucker Carlson is like my perfect candidate. He's conservative on social issues, but he's populist on rhetoric and on fiscal issues, and he's anti-establishment. He's a little bit out there, but overall he's solid. I would love to see Tucker Carlson become president someday. That would be like the greatest thing I could ever see. And for his running mate, I would love to see Tulsi Gabbard as his running mate. Tulsi Gabbard is kind of she's good on foreign policy. She's good on a lot of issues. She's solid. Tulsi Gabbard is a very good candidate, and I would not mind honestly if it came down to Tulsi versus Trump, I would vote Trump. But Tulsi versus DeSantis, Tulsi versus and maybe Tulsi versus DeSantis, I'd probably also vote for DeSantis. But if Tulsi ran against like anyone besides like Trump or solid or any kind of populist, I would probably support her. Honestly, Tulsi Gabbard, she's a solid candidate. I don't think she's ever going to go anywhere. I think she might run like for Congress or governor as a Republican, but she's not going to run for like She's probably just going to be on Tucker Carlson show, write some books, which that's all right. We need people like that. But yeah, Tulsi Gabbard, she's not. I wouldn't want her. I wouldn't want her as president, but I wouldn't be opposed to her as a VP for like a Tucker Carlson populist ticket. I think she'd be solid on that. But for president, maybe. She went from a Bernie bro to conservatarian in 2 years. Yeah, I know everyone. I'm getting some hate now for this Tulsi for liking Tulsi Gabbard. AFM Bernie Sanders in 2016 was way different than he was in 2020. I'm sure you know this. And she was back in 2016, and it was more like 4 years ago. Even in 2018, she didn't oppose. She almost voted no on Trump's impeachment, and she was actually from even back in 2018, 2 years ago, she was already beginning to become more conservatarian, more just a generic becoming more of a populist lib left, if you will, liberal. But she's not awful on a lot of issues. She's gotten much better. I disagree with her a lot on guns, but on foreign policy, I think she's foreign policy. Her and I are pretty much have the same mindset in foreign policy. And on some economics, she's definitely a little more too left leaning for me on economics, and some social issues as well. She's pretty far left leaning for me. But like I said, a lot of she's not bad, honestly. She's not a bad candidate, and she's not a bad politician. But she is a woman. Um, yeah, that is a downside. I'll give you that. But I'm not too far. I'm not. I don't really. We can get into that a little bit. We can look into my views on that stuff a little bit. I was supposed to end this 8 minutes ago, so we'll just wrap this up pretty quickly. But she is a woman. Yeah, I have my issues with a lot of stuff. I mean, I could go on a rant about how feminism has destroyed American culture and how how men have been completely emasculated and how it's ruining our society. But I'm not going to get into that right now because I really don't feel like ranting for an hour about all that. But yeah, overall, Democrats are. I mean, women. I wouldn't have an issue. I don't have an issue supporting women for certain positions, like I don't know, like Senate. Like I don't think women should necessarily be barred from holding political office. But like I think they should definitely understand that the way that they think and the way that they feel and the way that they do that stuff is different from the way that a man would do that. And that's nothing necessarily good or bad about that. It's just different. So yeah, that's my stance. Women in politics, haha. Make me a sandwich. True, pretty based. Once Clinton got the nomination, it shifted away from from the Dems, but Trump's grabbing comment made me upset, but voted for him. Yeah, you said earlier about how you were a staunch Democrat and then voted Dem in 2016, but voted for Trump in the end. I'm pretty similar in my opinion to that stuff. When I first got into politics, I was I was pretty much a Green Party person. I was still relative. I had such weird political views. Like in 2017, 2018, when I first started getting into politics, I had such weird views. I was like pro gay, pro union, pro gay, pro unions. Like pretty, but I was actually pretty left leaning on most social issues, but but I was always 100% pro life. Like my stance on abortion has been pro life in literally any scenario since I first got into politics. Like even when I was like left on gay marriage and trans and drugs and stuff like that, when I was pretty left leaning that stuff, I was a full on pro life warrior even back then. So you are still I am still pro unions. I'm absolutely pro unions. I think labor unions definitely, teachers unions and stuff like that. I'm wishy washy on, but I'm 100% pro labor union. My grandpa used to be a union leader here in Northeast Ohio. He's told me stories about how bad working conditions would have been without unions, and I definitely see the reason people don't like unions. But overall, my views, my on unions are I view unions very favorably. If we had actually good unions that weren't like that did just shill for the Democrats and shill for left leaning people and actually cared about the workers, then I would be the most pro union person out there. I would support any and every kind of union. But so right now, I definitely support labor unions. For like but certain like I support unions for blue collar workers, but I don't support them for white collar workers or anything besides that. So that's kind of my stance on labor unions. I support some, but not all, because like I said, I come from a Reagan Democrat family, a lot of working class, blue collar people in my family. So, like I said, I think labor unions. We need labor unions. Labor unions are essential. I would support labor unions anytime. In my opinion, I think I learned the song I used for the Canadian trucker protests is actually from when labor unions in West Virginia overthrew the people who ran the coal mines because they were getting treated poorly, and they basically it was started a miners' rebellion. That would be incredible. That would be epic. It'd be based. So yeah. So like I said, I like unions a lot, especially labor unions. Teachers unions and like white collar unions. I don't think there's really a need for them. But I understand. But labor unions and like blue collar unions, absolutely 100%. I support those guys. If you're under the age of 17, your political opinions will change a lot in the next 4 years. Possibly, I don't know. I feel like definitely a little bit. My political views have changed a little bit. I've kind of gone on like 3 stages of my political views. Obviously, I said I was at first pretty much a Green Party supporter. I was pretty socially and fiscally liberal, but I was always 100% pro-life, and I was never too far left. Like I was like critical race theory was always conservative on. That wasn't really a big issue back in like 2018 though, so I can't really state on that. And I actually still would have voted for supported the Republican Party and back in like 2018 as well. I was just kind of I was kind of like a I was kind of I don't know how to compare myself. Maybe like an Andrew Yang type. Like I was pretty liberal on a lot of issues, but I was still like tended to vote. Not Andrew Yang is a horrible analogy. That's a bad guy. I was pretty liberal on most issues, but I still supported the Republican Party just because I don't really know why. It didn't really make a lot of sense to me. But yeah. So and then I started to become a little bit more conservative. That was around 2019. In 2019, I started listening to a local conservative talk show host on the radio with my dad over the summer because my dad and I over the summer we did a lot of house renovations, so we spent a lot of time together, and we would listen to this local conservative talk show host. And he kind of red pilled me a little bit. It was during the midterm, so I learned about a lot about more social conservative politics and other stuff of the like, including like NAFTA, reorchestrating NAFTA. So I listened to him a lot, and I kind of got red pilled on a lot of issues. So I sort of became this center right, like even maybe Mitt Romney type back in like 20. I'd say I was socially and center right for a while. And then I was pretty much like that from 2019 into 2020. And then all of 2020, I was a center right. I was pretty much center on social issues, but I was relatively conservative on fiscal issues. And then as we entered into 2021 last year, really after January 6th, I kind of got January 6th had a big influence on my. I wasn't fully anti-Republican Party and anti-conservative after 2016. I mean, after January 6th, after the riot, I definitely distanced myself in terms of like when I talked about my politics. I was like, yeah, I'm conservative, but I don't really support a lot of that. I don't really support the Republican Party. I don't really support Trump. That was kind of my stance. And then and then like maybe around January 20th, I think when Biden got inaugurated, I listened to this stream by I'm not 100% sure. I forget who it was by. I really wish I remember, but it was actually a libertarian, and he was talking about how Biden was going to take away people's rights and how libertarians were like this was like the future ideology. And it's crazy to think that was just a year ago, but I bought into that. I bought Gadsden flag everything. I had an ANCAP flag on my Minecraft house and my friends in my Minecraft server. I went from being just like a generic Republican to being a full-on libertarian in like a month. And from February, really until around around early May of last year, for about 3-4 months, I was full-on libertarian. I was like, "Don't tread on me. Do what you want. Screw off. Don't mess with me. Guns, drugs. Let's go." But like, yeah, and then I started getting into philosophy because like people at school, I'd be like debating people on like big government and stuff like that, and like Trump and Biden, because people at school didn't really like me because I was like, the libertarian. I didn't really take either side. I was kind of that annoying, bitchy ass libertarian that they're viewed as, or they mess everything up. So yeah, I was kind of like that for a while, but eventually, you know what? I started getting a lot more into philosophy and politics and stuff, and actual policy, other than just like don't mess with me, screw off, let me live my life in Montana, smoking weed and shooting guns. Let's go libertarianism. Those were literally my politics for the longest time, and then eventually, I kind of started. I hung out with my grandpa a lot more. I started doing some other stuff, and I just started getting a little more into actual policy and philosophy around May-ish, and that's when I started this channel. I started this channel in around May. So I started this channel in like April, but I first started uploading videos in May. So I was still pretty much a libertarian, but I was sort of becoming more conservative. I called myself like a conservatarian, whatever the hell that meant. And then eventually, over the summer, I kind of got red pilled because I got really into politics. Like I really got into it all. Like I was into it before, but like I just cared about like elections and like the generic basic stuff that like I was like I had political views. I read about politics. I listened to politics. I did stuff like that, but I really didn't like fully understand. I mean, I understood a lot of it, but like I really went in last summer. Like all I did was read books, read articles, watch videos, listen to podcasts about politics, all that good stuff. And I slowly got more red pilled. Like I was slowly getting more conservative. And then I had I hung out with my grandpa. We went fishing, or we went for a drive. I think we just went for a drive. We went from here to like Toledo and went to see like the Great Lakes Shipping Museum. It's a great museum if you've ever been there. And we just talked politics the whole time last summer. It was incredible. It was like so much fun. And the whole ride, he just told me about his history, about how he was a former union leader, how he was socially conservative that whole time. And it was like It was really based. It was really epic. That was like the best hour and a half drive of my life. And ever since then, I was like, you know what? Libertarianism is kind of dumb. We need social conservatives. We need populism. The working class of this country has been absolutely demolished. We need we need And I became pretty red pilled, and that was in July. And then I went to Washington D.C. with my family at the end of July and the beginning of August. And I got, like I said, that trip to D.C. I got to see a lot. I got to leave my white working class Ohio Midwestern neighborhood when I went to DC. And I'm pretty well traveled for people my age, but that was especially the first time I really looked out and understood it all. And that kind of red pilled me a little bit more. I started school. I got a lot more red pilled after starting school again. And you know what? Here we are today. I'm very conservative. I'm very conservative, but not super. I'm very definitely is right leaning, but not super far right. So with that, I think we're going to end the show, end this stream here. I thank you guys for coming on. I wish I could answer all your questions. We're going to do this again. I had a lot of fun talking with you guys. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to me. And I hope you guys have an incredible Valentine's Day. Thank you guys all for watching.